William Faulkner's novel, As They Lay Dying, uses varying perspectives throughout the novel to create dynamic characters that make a book worth analyzing. The perspectives in the book and the way that they are portrayed point to the value of interpretations for events in life. People's interpretations of life depend greatly upon the background that they come from. In addition, they also lead to how they find truth behind events and people's actions. William Faulkner exploits his message by showing events viewed in such ways that depend on the maturity and experiences of the characters commenting on them.
You want her to die so you can get to town, is that it? You know it's true even when you say it to yourself.
Darl, stop! No, Darl!
Dewey Dale, you know it's true.
Know her secret. Dewey Dale's pregnant, I've always known that. And she just wants to go to town to get an abortion because she is selfish and does not like her mother.
Are you gonna tell Pa? Are you gonna kill him? Please don't kill him. Are you gonna tell Pa? Darl, no! I guess Darl was right. I mean, it is unfortunate that my mother died, but the good thing is now I get to go to town and get my abortion. And that's a good thing because a 17-year-old having a baby just ain't right. And that ain't gonna work for me. So, I guess I miss my mother, but it is a good thing in the end.
In this example, Faulkner uses the all-knowing perspective of Darl to uncover the truth about Dewey Dale's motives. Darl knows that Dewey Dale is pregnant, but it is never explicitly stated. Darl just hints and hints, but he knows that this is Dewey Dale's motivation throughout the book. She is using the excuse of her mother's death to gain access to an abortion. Without this ingenious use of perspective from Darl, we may never have uncovered the truth about Dewey Dale until much later in the book, making her a much more bland character in the end. But this perspective provides readers with insight into her deep and dark motives. This adds a dynamic side to Dewey Dale and opens up a can of worms to discuss about her. This also helps to develop a conflict in the plot. We see the struggle to gain the abortion, and everything she does further on in the book revolves around getting rid of this illegitimate child. Faulkner's amazing use of Darl's truthful perspective opens up the reader's eyes to the true motives and feelings of the characters and shows us that there's much false sympathy in the world when people have ulterior motives, and this is greatly expressed throughout this example in As I Lay Dying.
My daddy always told me the point of living is to get to dying.
Mother, no! Mother! Please don't die! Mother! Okay, I'll go make dinner now.
God's will be done. Now I can get them teeth.
My daddy shaves every day, 'cause my mother's a fish.
It's sad that Addie died and all, but now I gotta go into town and get me a new wife. I gotta look good once I get my new teeth, and I gotta shave, and I gotta put on my nice Sunday pants, and I'll be the best looking man in the county, and then the women will flock to me.
As soon as Addie dies in the book, Ant seems to jump for joy about being able to go to town and get his new teeth. Faulkner uses this as foreshadowing and exposition for Vardaman's famous line about his father shaving and about his mother being a fish. Although we see a setup of events by Ant saying he wants to go to town to get new teeth immediately after Addie's death, it is not until after Vardaman's comment that we begin to put together the pieces. Ant is going to town to find a new wife before his old one is even cold. Faulkner uses the innocent perspective of Vardaman to allude to Ant's trying to find a new wife for himself and to take care of everything that he does not want to do. The perspective of Vardaman is intelligently thought out because it slowly develops the plot and does not just bluntly say Ant is trying to find a new wife, because Vardaman does not understand that Ant is trying to find a new wife. He is just making a general observation. But Faulkner uses this observation to give the readers just one more hint at the true motives of Ant. Ant is lazy, and Faulkner shows this despite Ant using the excuse of his wife to go to town. From getting new teeth to shaving every day, the situation showed that Ant was trying to look good and improve his physical appearance, all while degrading his morals. Faulkner gives us hints to develop Ant as a selfish character who only cares about his own personal needs and how much he can use someone. It helps develop a plot that leaves you wondering what will happen in the end without even knowing you're desiring the answer. All of this is achieved through the use of an innocent perspective of Vardaman, dropping hints where they meant to make generalizations.
Mama!
William Faulkner develops his characters not only with individual personalities, but with their relationships to others. This is most evident in the Bunnard's family dynamics. Vardaman is the youngest child and, in result, acts immaturely. This is seen immediately after the death of his mother. His simple mind cannot yet grasp the concept of death. leaving him in a fit of rage. From his perspective, Dr. Peabody is responsible for his mother's death, so he releases his anger by violently kicking Peabody's horses. I light the kitchen lamp. The fish, cut into jagged pieces, bleeds quietly in the pan. I put it into the cupboard quick, listening into the hall, hearing. It took her 10 days to die. Maybe she don't know it is yet. Maybe she won't go until Cash, or maybe until Jewel. I take the dish of greens from the cupboard and the bread pan from the cold stove, and I stop, watching the door.
Dewey Dale, where's Vardaman?
I don't know. I ain't seen him. I can't see the barn.
Family dynamics have a similar impact on Dewey Dell, and that being the only daughter in her family, she is held to high standards regarding her role in society. From her perspective, her family's only desire is for her to get married and bear children. She grew up in an environment where she was destined to be a housewife, and this experience stays with her because she's the only daughter. Faulkner cements this idea in her mind, forever altering her perspective of events. This further depicts how a person's background impacts their interpretation of life and its events. Once her mother passes away, the ideas cemented in her mind lead her to take on her mother's role. She is then expected to carry out the domestic responsibilities of her family on top of her already existing responsibilities of being the only daughter. Her ability to carry out these tasks is limited by her perspective, which is symbolized when she looks out the window for Vardaman but can't see past her own thoughts.
If you got any women folks, why in the world don't they make you get your hair cut?
I ain't got none. That's what I come to see you about.
I haven't got any, but you've got a house and a farm. Are you gonna get married?
That's what I come to see you about.
Now, I think that my being educated sets me apart from the family. I'm just so much smarter than them. They don't understand me. And I think that makes me better than them, and I feel like I settled for aunts because there wasn't really anyone else, and that just makes me kind of sad, but that's life. I'm just different.
Faulkner also uses specific diction to put characters on different social levels than others. In this scene, Addie's perspective reveals that she settled for Anne's when she agreed to marry him because he was her only option in a small town. Her sophisticated choice of words and use of punctuation not only set her apart from Anne's, but the rest of her family as well, which is one cause of her hatred for them. She was a schoolteacher before she married Anne's, and her educated diction is kept throughout her only chapter in the book, which Faulkner used to portray her as an outsider from the rest of her family, and ultimately why she was just thrown away by her family in the end of the book.
Darl is strong, and he was coming in slow, and so I knew he had her because he was slow, and I ran into the water to help, and I couldn't stop hollering because Darl was strong and steadily holding her under the water. Even as she did not fight, he would not let her go. He was seeing me, and he would hold her. It was all right. It was all right now.
Where's Mom, Darl? You knew she was a fish when you let her get away. You never got her. Darl, Darl, Darl!
Faulkner uses specific diction to show change in a particular character's perspective. In this specific scene, Vardaman's diction transforms after he sees Darl in the water trying to save his mother's coffin. When Darl comes to the surface empty-handed, Vardaman begins to use punctuation for the first time in the book. This change could be a result of the realization that he could actually lose his mother in the water, and a gain in understanding of the idea of death, which ultimately makes Vardaman more mature, and Faulkner chooses to demonstrate this through a change in diction. Faulkner's use of varying perspectives contributes to the message that everyone's point of view is different. All it takes is a little analysis and appreciation to understand it.